Welcome, race fans, to Pitside live here at Adams County Speedway in Corning, Iowa. Also, welcome to the KCSI YouTube channel. Those of you watching, hope you are. And I guess you got to see a good show just about 10 minutes ago. So hope you go back later on and rewind that. You'll get a real good show. Real good. So anyway, all right, awesome night. Here we are, another non-rain out. There's weather out there. It's missing us like normal. Remember, folks, this is Corning, Iowa. It never rains in Corning, it seems like. So we are racing. We are live. This is a huge night for us. This is one of my favorite nights without a doubt. It is Hall of Fame night. We have 6 members we're inducting tonight. We will have 5 of those as guests tonight, so look forward to that. This hour-and-a-half show seems to fly by during that thing, and you get to talk nostalgia. When you talk to those guys about old times, I can talk all night long about that stuff.
Yeah, Cole and I will be off the show pretty much the whole time tonight. Tim Cooney's going to come on here in a little bit, and he's going to talk with you and talk to all your inductees and some families and things like that. So Cole and I kind of get a night off tonight, but we'll talk here for just briefly about the races last week and some things that happened and I guess the first thing that comes to my mind, Cole, is the B-Mod feature.
Yeah,
I mean that was incredible, race fans. If you were not here last Saturday night, Sean Kralik won by, what was it, like 3 1,000ths of a second or something like that?
It was a very slim margin, that's for sure. So
Daniel Bowdler, he was leading pretty much the last half of the race, and then Kralik got up on him, and I thought Kralik screwed up going into 4, and he pushed up the hill a little bit and then found something and just went around the outside, and it was about that close.
Yeah, I got to be honest, when he went to the top side in 3 and 4, I mean, guys hadn't, towards the end of that race, they weren't really running that line a whole lot. They were running it in 1 and 2, it seemed like, but he had to try something. If he just followed him on the bottom, he was just going to get second, and he went to the outside. And originally, I didn't think he was going to have the momentum, and like you said, he just found something right through the center, or well, up high in the center of the corner. He found something, and he just came out of that corner like a rocket. So it was. I don't know, what is that, 6 photo finishes this year? Seems like every night we've had a photo finish in one class at least. So.
It's been some fantastic racing for sure. Our racetrack prep crew has done a good job of taking care of things, and we're doing something a little bit different tonight. We put a little bit more water on it throughout the week this week to see if it can do less work for us during race day. So hopefully the racetrack will turn out to be good again tonight. And once again, we have our 5 regularly scheduled classes again tonight for the NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Racing Series, along with our Hall of Fame night tonight during intermission. So intermission will be extra long tonight. Usually takes about a half hour or so typically to get everybody out there, get inducted, and then get all the
photos taken,
and all the collectible cars out on the track so everybody can look at. And so it'll be. Hopefully we can get through heat races as quick as possible so we can get our Hall of Fame stuff during intermission. We have been talking next year. We would love to see. We want to turn this night into a throwback night next year. We're planning on next year's Hall of Fame. We got some good ideas, just spur of the moment ideas, honestly. And my dad's got the shirt on right here, the NASCAR Winston Racing Series, the old NASCAR Winston Cup Series shirt. I'll be wearing one again tonight.
The old official shirt. So
we pulled them out of the Hall of Fame.
That was the original one. Hall of Fame now. It came out of my tub at home. These are all mine.
I thought they were down there in the Hall of Fame.
No, these are all mine. So.
They smell like they've been in the tub for a while.
They've been there. So I guess we need to put some refresh in there or something.
But we want to make this a Hall of Fame night, race fans, next year. So
it is a Hall of Fame night.
Throwback night next year. And
so
some ideas we thought about is like some old racing shirts.
Yeah, get in the back of your closet. I know you probably got some sitting back there that have been collecting dust, but just find some of those old race shirts if you can still fit in them.
Right.
That's I have that issue.
Just make it into a cutoff.
All my old race shirts, I was a kid, so obviously I don't think you want to see me try to squeeze into those.
And then we thought about giving a prize away to like the oldest racing shirt or the oldest driver or whatever, and doing something like that. Cole was also saying it's too bad that race wraps cost so much money because guys could wrap their cars and throw back. That'd be cool too. But everything's just too expensive.
And we've talked, Billy and stuff, we talked already that there's a chance we still might do something like that this year just to give it a test. But to me, it's a no-brainer to have us do this along with Hall of Fame from now on out. So, because just like you said, Cole, there's people out there. I know I've got shirts. Well, I had some, and now they're quilt.
Yeah.
So the wife took a lot of my old ones and made a quilt out of them. And I know I've seen several that do that. So.
Well, it's crazy, too, because, like, the throwback style stuff is it's coming back into like the popular fashion. And actually, it's kind of crazy. I have a buddy that he doesn't even know anything about racing, and he paid almost $200 for a Knoxville Nationals shirt from, like, 1970-something. Wow. Those shirts are becoming fashion statements, and you see like celebrities wearing dirt track shirts. So it's pretty cool to see that. So yeah, I would love nothing more than to see a packed grandstands full of old
Some
shirts.
of the shirts I'm thinking of right off the top of my head is back when we used to have the spray, the paint sprayer guy.
Yeah, the gentleman from Lennox that came.
Remember that
here?
guy that used to?
He was here every week.
If I saw one of those out here, I'd be like that. The airbrush. That would be so cool because that guy was awesome.
I'm fairly positive my dad still has an airbrushed Chuck Hewlett shirt in his.
So. He did that forever here.
Closet.
There you go.
That's the thing. I guess and I'm thinking, my the quilt. I guess I would bring that here and put it on display, and people would have those just like that. Need to do the same thing because that's a collection of like 12 shirts on there, and there's some really neat ones. Things I can think of is Hamples did the souvenir back then, but I can think of a lot of them. The original ones, the old original half-mile looking logo, the one I remember well is when we got the lights, and it was something about turning up the lights or something like that. But I remember that well. We went and got our new lighting system. But just a lot of shirts like that. There's a lot of those out there. I know people have, and I think a couple years ago, Greg had donated what they had left over. And we did that a couple of nights. I think it was pre-COVID, if I remember right. It's been so long, it seems like. But we had old hats. We threw a lot of that stuff out in the crowd over that year. So a lot of neat stuff. So I know there's a lot of that stuff out there. So
be super cool. Let's. You want to go through some results really quick of all the features, and then we'll get through.
We can quickly do the top 5. Tim, hopefully, is going to be up here pretty quick. So. We'll get Tim going and get our first guest on here.
And I'll let people know about point standings and everything else. So
real quick, we'll just go. I got the first thing up here, and that's compacts. I'm going to just do the top 5 real quick of the compacts last week. Top 5 was Tyler Hoover in the 27 car, the first night out with that car for him. Zach Sickles in the 50 was 4th. John Berg in the 12 was 3rd. Dustin Shepard had a good race. Those guys, all 5 of those guys were running for the top dog there last week. But Tyler Housley came out on top in the 15H.
Yeah, so again, our compacts, Cole, man, they've been putting on some shows for sure, and it's been really good racing, so I've been very impressed.
Yeah, it was really fun to watch, man. It's like we say it every week, just the 4 or 5 wide action on the starts, and then, last week and even the week before, like, they just were all on the track together underneath a blanket, so it's good to see. I think the early days of our compact shows, you kind of see one guy just run away with it, and now you're seeing 5-car battles for the race lead, and it's pretty awesome.
So really quick here, our point standings and our floating vine compacts. So top 5, 5th place is Tyler Housley out of Glenwood. He picked up his first feature win last Saturday night. 4th place is Andrew Akers out of Gravity. He also has 1 feature win on the season. 3rd place is Xander Steiner in the 5 car out of Shenandoah. He's also got 1 feature win on the season. 2nd place is the 23 of Dustin Shepard out of Malvern, 1 feature win on the season. And John Berg, the 12 car out of Creston, is your point leader with 654 points. He has a 46-point gap over 2nd place. He also has 1 feature win on the season. So race fans, remember our compacts, great class. And so far we've had 7 nights and we've had 7 different winners.
Yeah.
So in our compacts, so you really can't beat that.
Moving on to hobby stocks real quick. Top 5 last week in the hobby stocks. Another good run by Anthony Fletchall in the 29 car, followed by Adam Hensel in the 7H. Last week's guest, the old walleye, Jim Toll, must have given him some good luck. He finishes 3rd. Luke Ramsey in the 17 car, finishing 2nd. But your winner, I think it was almost from start to finish, Cody Warner in the 21 car.
Cody Warner held off the likes of Luke Ramsey and all those guys. So
now, am I wrong here? Was that his first hobby stock feature win?
First. So it was first official win by start finish line because he won the night that Tanner Dixon won and got DQ'd.
Oh yes, yep.
So that was his first win.
Yeah.
But this is the first win actually going to victory lane and things like. So it was a little bit more special for him.
Give the points.
Top 5 for your Hobby Stocks point standings. 5th place is Jared Lund in the 95 car. 4th place is Tom Myers out of Glenwood. He has 1 feature win on the season. 3rd place is the 16 car of Buddy Heidzig out of Bedford, 1 feature win on the season. 2nd place is Adam Hensel in the 7H car. He also has 1 feature run of the season with 627 points, and he is currently 28 points behind your point leader, the 17 car of Luke Ramsey, with 3 wins on the season out of 7 nights.
Moving on to our Northland Oil stock cars, 5th place last week was Brock Badger in the 50B car, followed by Steve Churchill in the 55. Dusty Van Horn joined us last week and finished 3rd. Mike Albertson also was here in the 3 car, finishing 2nd, but your winner, the 37D of Brad Derry.
Top 5 in your Northland Oil stock cars. 5th place is Tim Cooney in the 14 car. I don't really know who that is, but he's been racing, a little while. He's got 1 top 5 on the season. 4th place is the 6 car of Xander Steiner. The 6 car of Xander Steiner.
Hey, Xander, who?
John Kinzer.
How did you get that out of there?
I don't know. John Kinzer in the 6 car. He's got 1 feature run of the season, 2 top 5s. 3rd place is the 55 of Steve Churchill. He does not have any wins, but he's got 4 top 5s. 2nd place is the 37D of Brad Derry. He's catching our point leader right now. He's only 27 points back. He has 2 feature runs in the season, but your point leader is the 50B of Brock Badger out of Bagley with 553, but it's tightening up because Brad is really starting to figure out his car. So now we're going to move on to our O'Reilly Auto Part B Modifieds.
Yeah, last week's top 5, Hunter Poston with a good run in the 58 car, followed by Jared Weston in the 86J. Quick point out to Hunter, I do believe he spun out and came back all the way back up to 5th, didn't he?
3rd, 4th, and 5th were all at the tail of the field. They were all leading and then went to the tail after self-spin. Well, I think Weston, I believe there was contact on that one, but they all came from the tail. So
it was the race of the night. For
sure. It was a great show watching those guys come up through there.
Yep, Kyle Tannerson finished in 3rd. Daniel Botter led that for quite a while in the 6B, but like we said earlier, Sean Crawley got him a very close finish for the win.
Top 5 in your O'Reilly Auto Parts B Modifieds point standings. 5th place is the 58 of Hunter Poston of Villisca. He's got 4 top 5s on the season out of 7 nights. 4th place is Daniel Bowdler out of Fontenelle. He's got 1 feature win on the season with 5 top 5s. 3rd place is the 86J of Jared Weston. Out of 7 nights, he's finished 6 times in the top 5. 2nd place is the 16A of Bryce Allen out of Stanton. He's got 1 win on the season with 4 top 5s. And your point leader is the 0 car of Sean Kralik out of Creston. He's got 2 wins on the season, and all 7 nights he's finished in the top 5.
All right, and finally, your biorefining modified top 5 last week. Jeff Wiggins, the Candyman, in 36T, finishing 5th, followed by Colton Garside in the 11F. Tony C. Hardesty, who led early on, and the 0 car finished 3rd. Austin Paul in the A5 finishing 2nd, but your winner, the 38 of Brad Berggren.
Top 5 in your Premier Division, the Poet Biorefining A Modifieds. 5th place is the 11F of Colton Garside out of Greenfield. 2 top 5s in the season. 4th place is the 10J of Josh Cooper out of Prescott. He's got 1 win on the season with 3 top 5s. 3rd place is the A5 of Austin Paul out of Newton. He's got 1 feature run on the season and 6 top 5s out of 7 nights. The 2nd place runner is the 38 car of Brad Berggren. He's got 1 feature run of the season, picked it up last Saturday night, and he's got 7 top 5s in all 7 races. So that's pretty impressive. And he has a 27-point gap behind your point leader, the 70 car of Jesse Dennis out of right here in Corning. Chubbs has got 4 feature wins out of 7 nights, and he has got 6 top 5s. And last weekend was the only night that he finished out of the top 5 because he blew a left rear. Yeah.
So I tell you what, folks, we're going to take a quick commercial break because we've got a line of people here to get on. Like I said, it's nostalgia night with our Hall of Fame inductees. So we're going to take our first commercial break, and we'll be right back with you with our first guest.
Subscribe to the KCSI Radio YouTube channel today. Interviews, parades, events, contests, and more. Subscribe to KCSI Radio on YouTube and get notified every time something fun happens.
What if we could harness the power of the sun by using the earth? to transform the way we use energy. Water furnace geothermal systems are simply the most efficient way to keep your family comfortable. Winter or summer, day or night, rain or shine, without burning fossil fuels. Giving you the freedom to focus on life.
Call Camlin Mechanical or visit camlinmechanical.com for your water furnace needs today.
Even if it's been years since you graduated, your college team is your team for life. Well, you can have a Farm Bureau agent for life, and auto, and home, and business insurance. Imagine that. One insurance agent for everything. It's that simple. So get a Farm Bureau agent for life.
Contact Farm Bureau agent Elizabeth Davison in Clarinda and Shenandoah at 712-621-2878 for all your insurance and financial needs.
Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Property and Casualty.
Are you interested in starting a career instead of just getting another job? Well, hop on over to Fresco System USA and let us help you find the one for you. We offer competitive wages, benefits starting day one, and so much more. You can pick up an application at 2026 Fernwood Avenue, find us on Indeed, Better Team, and Facebook, or call 712-623-8100, extension 6659. Spring into action and join the Fresco team today.
Welcome back, race fans, to Pitside live here at Adams County Speedway. Got Tim Cooney joining us too here from part of our Hall of Fame committee. So welcome, Tim. And we have our first guest here, our inductee as a fan, Wayne Laird from right here in Corning, Iowa. Welcome, Wayne.
Good to be here.
Wave at your fans out there. Okay, no, so yeah, we're just like I tell people, we're just sitting here talking, and it's just like normal BS with us here. You know, that's all we're doing right now, and that's how we do it. And you don't even pay attention to the camera; they'll see us and do whatever we want. So, I remember giving you the call after we had the vote, and I think you were pretty surprised. And,
I was. So. I didn't know I had that many friends.
Yeah, we all wanted that ourselves sometimes. So, but you know, you're a great inductee. You've been coming here for how long?
Since the 80s. I was on the sheriff's reserves and helped park cars, and then on the fire department in Prescott, and there's a three guys over there that would work on the safety crew, and if they went on vacation or something, I'd trade places with them and come over here. And then been coming with my son after that. So. And
you and your son have been here a long time. Yep. I know you mentioned your son when you got inducted.
Yeah.
Wanting him to be in there with you, and that's how
Yeah.
It's just an individual thing, but that's we've had that before. So had a lot of family like that because you come as a family. A lot of husband and wives are the same way. So
yes, sir.
It's special to have you on here, and what's also good is always have inductees that are still alive with us. So I always like that.
So thanks a lot. I appreciate that.
No, I mean it's that's the thing. I mean it really, because we've had to do that before. Induct that way, and you have family members and stuff like that. But it's always great to have you here live, and I mean that in a great way. So, I mean, what can you talk about over the span of what you've seen happen around here?
Oh, like they've just build the place up and the stands and what Hanfel's done for it, and just you keep getting more events and trying to get more events. And
it's just that's the thing. I tell people is we're a nonprofit organization here, and everything goes right back to the facility, and that was when it kind of started. Was the late 80s, early 90s is when this thing really started exploding, didn't it, Tim?
Yeah. When they started going with the NASCAR sanction, that's really when things started to take off.
Yeah, it's like, and I look back at that stuff, and this time of year I'm looking at those pictures, and I know we have one for Larry Carr in there because he was a big part of that construction when we did the first set of decks and all that stuff, and you look back at all the volunteers we had back then,
Yeah.
And I don't know if we could ever even come up with a tenth of those now to do all that. I mean, it's just that's the way the times have changed. It's just
Yes.
What I noticed in all the years I'm still doing this is the volunteers are fewer and fewer, and that's just the way the nature of everything is. And no different than businesses trying to find people to work.
Yes.
It's you got to pretty much pay for everything. So,
Yep.
but the thing is I know tracks out there. I know there's a thing out there by Chris Speaker about a track in Michigan closing and how easy that can happen. But he talked about how it takes people like you. It takes these fans to keep coming and supporting these tracks, so we don't ever have to go through that. So that's the neat part about it. So, Wayne, it's like we talked about the improvements and stuff. As you can remember as we come through here, I think you've had some favorite drivers too over the years.
Yeah, I've known Tony Hardesty forever, because he was, even when I was out there to Crestland, out here west of town, he was in town here at a little shop, and then he worked on our stuff when we revolved on out of that deal. And Todd Van Eaton, he bought stuff from us when I worked at Prescott for Crestland Co-op, and just different people, Goldsmiths and his boy and stuff.
So through the years, what would you say your favorite classes have been? Would it be the classes those guys raced in when they were racing in, or do you, like some people lean towards, they like the late models, or some like the pro streets?
Yeah, the late models and the modifieds.
You remember when the modifieds came here?
Yeah, I do.
What year was it?
1986.
I knew you'd know it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Getting my man in here for the camera real quick, so make sure he answers. I need to get in here. So so that's want to make sure I don't think my camera's going here, so I want to make sure my camera guy is getting in here and making sure this is on. So all of you on the radio just hear me yak, but I want my camera guy to make sure this is working, because I don't think it's on. So I don't think he showed me how to make sure that the camera's live, because that still shows us 3 on there. So are we on live or what? So
while they're doing that, we'll talk.
Yeah.
So you've been coming over here since the 80s,
and
you'd
that's
say?
Cole.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
Prior to that, you didn't come over?
Just park cars and
just when you got to parking cars and helping?
Working. I'm the safety crew for those guys at the fire department in Prescott, because then got into it more.
Now, some of these guys we're going to have later, they'll be able to tell stories about how they stayed up late at night working on cars and spending money they probably didn't have on cars, but you don't have any of that.
No, I don't. Well, the alcohol end of that ball game might play into that.
Sure.
Back in the day,
adult beverage to enjoy the races. Yeah,
yes,
totally understand that. So, well, I'll tell you what, Wayne, we really appreciate having you up here, and look forward to do the actual induction on the front stretch here at intermission.
Yeah.
So hopefully you got some family here, and you'll see some other friends out there. So
I'm really glad that I got this chance to do this.
Well deserved. So
yes,
appreciate it. So it's always great that we do this with fans. There's a lot of them out there that get nominated every year. That everybody gets nominated. It's well deserving to be elected in. That's just how it works. But thanks for coming. We'll get you out there. I'm going to try to be able to see if you can get out of our little hole here real quick. And you can just set your headset, because I'm going to get Mark in here right now while we just do that. So we'll just keep live right here while we do that. So just set your headset there, and we'll get you going here.
Yeah,
so I'll see if we can help you out of here real quick.
Thanks, Mike. Cliff, something we ought to, while we're changing out here, explain to people how it works that the people become part of the Hall of Fame. And we have a nomination process.
Yep.
Usually send out. Well, anyone can nominate anybody, and if you need nomination papers or something, we'll get them to you. And we had just a great bunch of people nominated, and then we'll go through those nominations, and the top getters that get the most nominations,
correct,
then go to the voting ballot, and that's how this come out.
And we have a I think it's like 55 voting delegates right now. Is that we have for the final. Like I said, anyone can nominate, and then we take that process and we take the top ones and put it on the ballot. And like you said, we have I think we have 55. I usually mail out at least of voting delegates.
And we had a record return. It was great. So
it was. I mean, it was close to 50 if I remember right. It was a great response. That shows that that this means something, and to everybody that does it, and the support of that. So,
and people shouldn't be dejected, or if your person, maybe you nominated somebody and they didn't get on this time, don't let that deter you. Right. Keep on trying.
Yeah, because a lot of the people this year were right there every time, and I said, it's going to happen. It's going to happen to these people. I know it will. So, and I'm not going to go out there and tell them that, but that's, it's just, like you said, don't get discouraged because it usually happens. So
it can happen.
And everyone, like I said, is well deserving. So, we got that process explained, which is extremely important because a lot of people always ask that, how can I get so and so on there? How can I do this? And I said, well, the key thing is getting them nominated. So that's the first process, and remembering to do it every year. So. But next, we have our next guest here. Hopefully, some of you people recognize him without even introducing him. So, but a lot of people don't get to see your face a lot of time because you got a helmet on and you're hiding in a car.
Right? Yeah, that's kind of by design.
Yep,
I have a helmet face. So,
just like I said, I got a face for radio, not just camera. So, but anyway, this is our first driver, Mark Hanson.
Thank you. It is absolutely an honor.
Yeah, and it's. I got the brochure. Tim sent me the pictures and stuff, and to me, the icon car to me was the 26. I'm sorry, but that was just me, the street stock, and Dwight's car was a 12 definitely, and you still get to see that exact same car, but the Pro Street that day, that was the car that I always remember the best.
Yeah, that was. I tell you, when we started, we didn't have a clue what we were doing, and we kind of learned, but I think we put together a pretty good car. It was a lot of fun.
I think of you and Jerry Carlson. Grew up with Jerry playing softball before he got in the town team softball, and I remember him saying the same thing because I remember him and his brother in that first car he had, like an old Chevelle if I remember right. Anyway, but how that thing would go in the corner and just dive in, and they would talk about. We had no idea what we were doing when we started. So,
there was a lot of us, I think, then that really didn't have it. We just wanted to do it, and it didn't cost a whole lot at that time to get started. But I don't know. I fell into it at a good time.
So Mark, what's your first recollection of the Adams County Speedway?
Tim Weeda lapping me in a heat race, in the first heat race, and I thought I was flying.
Yeah, I can kind of relate to that. But no, when do you first remember coming to the Adams County Speedway and when kind of?
I live far enough north that we went to the northern tracks more to watch when I was a little kid, and then probably 3 years before I started racing, my wife and I would come down here almost every Saturday night that we could. And so probably about the time that Gail Hampel started.
In the early 80s.
Yep, it was before the modifieds, I know that.
Yeah, that's the thing, watching that class build, to me, that was mostly Camaros back then. You had a few Fords I can think of. Of course, Wyman's always ran Fords, but that's the car. Of course, I go back with the coupes was my dream, remembering it when I was real young. But that's the thing, that class, remembering how that class built up, and I remember having C features here.
Sure.
So that thing was a huge class. So, and it meant something to make the feature back then.
Yes, it did.
So you sometimes had your work cut out for you to make a feature. So that's don't even see those things much anymore like that. But it's amazing. Well, back it was like 2 classes, maybe 3 is what we ran. So, that made a big difference. So
sure.
So through the years, do you feel you had any rivalries, and anybody that was constantly a pain for you to try to outrun?
Well, I didn't really have a rivalry. I think I got along fairly well with everybody. Greg Miller was, back in the middle to late 80s, he was there all the time. And so it was a real challenge to try to outrun him.
Another Hall of Famer.
Exactly.
And I do believe he was 11-time track champion.
I lost count.
I think that's if I remember right. So I just remember the picture that they went like this, and I held up one finger. For some reason, I remember that. So when I was helping him with the picture, but I think. But Greg was in the sportsman class for a while, and talking about Greg, and don't know if that made a big difference when he was able to go back down to the pro streets. But yeah, he was always one of the guys you had to beat.
Oh yeah.
So. Other competitors you can think of that you'd really like racing against?
Oh, Jerry. You mentioned Jerry and Ron Gay, Lon Sluter. I just made so many good friends,
He just keeps naming off Hall of Famers,
Joe Herbert stopped in and talked to me the other day. So
to me, Joe is an icon. It's with the car.
Yes.
Mustang for a while, 61, and it was purple, I do believe, if I remember most times.
Had an old Starliner.
Yes, that's right. Yep. That is right. Yeah. So it's like, and it was a rare thing to have a Ford down here, it seemed like. So I don't know. So I know when Jerry started, I think he had like a Fairlane or something. I can't remember what he got out here. It was that car. I went back and watched some of Carr's videos back from the 90, 91, and that car's in there. One of them was when he was not very happy and stopped in the front stretch, and they almost had to kind of escort the car off the track. So I remember those kind of days too. Those were always fun too.
Oh yeah.
So, but this stuff's really neat to me. But like you said, you had friends. You guys might have had disputes at times, but it was just part of racing. And like I always tell everybody, to me, we're just a big family, and sometimes it's dysfunctional. But and probably most of those guys you're still friends with to this day.
Sure.
Sure. Hopefully Jerry makes it. Jerry's pretty good at coming back for the Hall of Fame. I hope he makes it tonight, as some of the guys are. So I hope he does. So, talk about some of your people that helped you. I know Dennison for sure. So
sure. I had Dave Swarty and Randy Eden were kind of my crew there, and then Dwight. I can't even begin to explain what Dwight and Cheryl did for me, and Joe Zadina, who's going to be in tonight, and Rex Haggerty, and Dwight taught me a lot.
And Dwight got in last year, so well deserving, as is Larry this year too. But you go back, and I'm typing up those bios you guys all sent to me, and a name that kept getting mentioned over and over was Dwight and Cheryl. You're in there because you were part of those crews and helping and all.
I had relationships with just about everybody but Wayne, I think.
Yeah,
sure.
So
I've been in,
that either you guys were pit crew helping or involved in your racing, their racing. That's what's neat about this class, is there's so many that are interchanging with different ways things went. And you raced the pro street, then you went to the modified. Raced a lot of different tracks then. I think Shelby County was one of your main ones.
Yeah.
Jim's going to be on here later, and I think he kind of ran Bull Valley, didn't he, more or less? When it was Audubon, didn't he?
Promoted.
He promoted Audubon, yeah.
So, and you raced that a few times during that too, right, didn't you?
Yep, I did.
So.
You kind of tore a car up there, didn't you?
On Cheryl's birthday.
That's right. That's in the.
I thought I was done.
And I think it's in your bio, and we'll read that off. But it was. He had one back together for you next week.
Yeah, he did. He did.
And moving from those classes, is it kind of a big step sometimes? I mean, did it?
Yeah, it kind of is. The stock car, the Pro Street to the modified was a huge step, and then the late model also. The competition gets a lot stiffer.
Yeah. So, some people said the modified, you go to a bigger motor on seems like a tiny tire, and then the late models, it's nice to have those big tires. But Steve Kaziski once said he always drove the late model, went down to modified a couple times. He goes, only trouble with the modified, you had too much time to think sometimes.
Yep.
I thought that was pretty good. So, anybody you want to thank while you're on? So.
The Dennison family, I think I wrote it up in my bio, but my family, Dwight and Cheryl and all that crew, Tim Cooney. I'd like to thank Tim Cooney. Yeah. Nobody thanks him enough.
Yeah, he doesn't need thanking. So Mark, what?
Believe me, I rely on him a lot. So
you're still doing getting a chance to do a little racing. Tell us a little about that.
I am a little bit. I got back into a sport mod and raced up at Denison here a week ago Friday.
I didn't know that.
So
where'd I miss that at? I'll be darned, I missed that.
We don't include you on everything.
I know that my family says, well, nobody told me he was doing it. I said, I don't want a whole lot of people to see that. So.
No, well, that's great. Maybe you can find your way down here sometime.
Very possibly could.
So it's, yeah, I mean, that's the thing about it. Like, we had Jim Tull on last week, and he stopped for a while, and he got this car, and he frustrated. So he gets this car that he won a championship with back in 2004, I think he said, and he finished third place with it last week. So that kind of cracks me up how sometimes that works. And I'm going to ask you the same question I ask him and a lot of drivers is, do you come and watch the races much? Because it's hard to do, isn't it?
I didn't come and watch for quite a while. I've watched a little more in the last 3 or 4 years, but it's really hard to do.
It gets you the itch, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Now, there's constantly this school of trying to get young people in, and I'm of the thought I like to see the more mature racers stay with it.
That's a good point.
Little safer.
Yeah, all age groups. I welcome any of them. You betcha. So, mature is a good way to use it. My son always calls me old, so I'm just glad to use that term.
So, what kind of things? How has things changed? Would you say what you observed
with the way with the cars themselves?
Cars, racing in general?
You got to be on the throttle a lot more to get the cars to work than we used to.
Yeah, they're an on the gas
on
car.
The gas thing, and that's kind of hard to adjust to sometimes. But
I remember you talked about this, how 4-link, when that came around, and how that was,
it was a game changer.
Yeah, that was a huge game changer, and that's just, and you see some of those cars where they get set up in the corner and see that thing hike up, and it's like that left rear moves forward, and it's like, that thing is not working, that's broke, but that's how that works. It's just, but if people see that, that's called the 4-link, that's how that works. Yeah. It's just
inducing that roll steer.
And now you see the ones with is it the camper where that front tire is like an angle.
Yeah.
I mean, now I'm like, that car's broke. No, that's how they set them up now.
Actually way back in the 70s, I've seen cars come down here that had ridiculous camber on them.
Yep.
Of course, they'd have a 3/4 ton truck spindle on there too.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I remember talking about Jerry. I remember they took and found a station wagon spring, so they put that on their right fronts. That thing wasn't diving back in so hard. That was what I laughed at, how they changed that one. So I know you mentioned family. I know it's in your bio, but I talk that a lot. But my son grew up here. Your kids grew up here.
My
right?
kids,
racing. I mean, they grew up in racing, and it's just like anything. I mean, grew up going to baseball, but it's just another sport. It's another family thing. And I worked with Marcia Scalberg for a while, and she said that she has a ton of pictures. Unfortunately, she's passed, and as her husband, but that was the thing she remembers the most is it was an event that all their family could come to. And enjoy.
It was.
So,
it was. My son, for the longest time, after the end of the Star Spangled Banner, thought the next verse was "Gentlemen, start your engines."
Yeah. And that, forever. So that is the neat part of it, and I don't I don't regret any of that.
No.
I grew up coming here, hitching rides, and because my parents ran a restaurant on Saturday nights, and any way I could get here, and then also getting way I could get home. But Tim, you've been here, you grew up here too, so I mean that's just that's the love of this place I have, and we both have of this place, and want to keep it going, and that's why we love doing this Hall of Fame. It's so well deserved, as you are as an inductee. I knew it was going to happen in a matter of time, and it was easy this year. Voted in with these. So, anybody else you want to thank?
Well, I want to thank my wife.
That's great.
Absolutely. I need to thank my wife because she put up with a lot. So.
And like Joe Kaczynski said, him giving up a lot of it is payback to his wife so they can do more things and stuff like that. But it's the same way. They still loved it though. So
yeah.
So
yeah.
They wouldn't have done it if they didn't. So.
No, we went and watched a race here a couple weeks ago, and I didn't think that Marlene would go along, and she was ready to go when we left. So
that's so. Make sure you have her down there.
She'll be here.
Right,
yep,
all right. So,
she'll be here.
So next step will be intermission. We'll have you out there, and we'll get the class. Haven't mentioned real quick, but I forgot that the Southwest Cruisers are here. So
yes,
they'll be out here
and we want to remind everybody that you've got the souvenir program.
Yes.
That's got all the bios in it.
Grab a couple of those right now. That's here. So I got to get those to Mark. So the colored ones, I want to make sure you guys get those. So, and if you ever need more, let me know because I know where I can get them. So yeah, intermission, folks. We'll have the official inductees down there and get you all honored and everything, and that'll be our next step. All right, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Coming.
Thank you.
So I'm going to try to get this thing to see if I can get a commercial to come up here before, make sure this works before I sign everybody off. But just everybody that's on the air, so we're going to take a commercial break. If this works a second, I might have to log back in. We're good.
Cool.
Good job.
I got to fire a commercial here.
So when it gets close to intermission, I'll just meet you down there.
Subscribe to the KCSI Radio YouTube channel today. Interviews, parades, events, contests, and more. Subscribe to KCSI Radio on YouTube and get notified every time something fun happens.
Joe's gotta go.
Holler, is Evan still out there?
Yeah.
Tell him to come in here.
Who?
Evan.
Oh.
I want to make sure he's over here for a minute, making sure this comes back on.
Okay. Do I pay you for the booth?
Are you calling IT?
Yeah, whoever. I want to make sure this is working. So quit walking away. I want to make sure everything, when I come back on, I want to make sure this is going. So.
Okay.
Now, this is commercial done, isn't it?
Yep. Click the next one.
We're at. I haven't done this one.
Okay. So if you want to, hey, if you want to fire it, hey.
Are you interested in starting a career instead of just getting another job? Well, hop on over to Fresco System USA and let us help you find the one for you. We offer competitive wages, benefits starting day one, and so much more. You can pick up an application at 2026 Fernwood Avenue, find us on Indeed, Better Team, and Facebook, or call 712-623-8100, extension 6659. Spring into action and join the Fresco team today.
Let us help insulate your home with Heartland Foam.
No matter what your insulation needs are, Heartland Foam Insulators is your go-to company. From removal to blow-in to foam, they are ready to go to work for you in any type of building, whether it be an existing house, new construction, a metal building, commercial building, or a unique project. Call Heartland Foam Insulators today at 712-623-4515 or heartlandfoam.com.
How about if I turn us up here? Welcome back, race fans, to Pitside live here at Adams County Speedway. It is Hall of Fame night here at Adams County Speedway. Also, welcome everybody back to our KCSI YouTube channel. I think it's working, but of course Evan walks away every time, and I don't know if it's working or not because I don't see anything on there. So I need to get him down here. So I just click here.
What? Just scroll over.
No, what's here? Let me look. See?
Scroll over.
Scroll what?
Scroll the screen over.
There we go. See, I got my camera guy here who usually runs this, who keeps disappearing on me. So I don't know if I'm this first time I ever run this thing. So anyway, hey, unfortunately we're on the air and we're going through all this stuff, and you get to see us as I mumble through all this. But welcome to our next Hall of Fame inductee, Joe Zena, smoking Joe Zena in the 3 car.
Hi guys.
Wow, that's loud. It is plenty loud.
Yeah, we got a red line that's there. That makes you. Hey, can you hear me? Okay. So, right off the bat, got a great shirt on there. I love that.
Yeah, I had to dig it out of the bottom of the t-shirt drawer, but it still fits anyways.
Because we were mentioning earlier, before we got going here, that's like we made a mistake. We have to make this a throwback night too. I don't know if you heard us down there on.
I didn't hear.
So we need to make this a throwback night and have people do the exact thing right there, is dig out your old shirts and stuff like that and wear them to this night also.
I'm gonna bet Tim's got an old pink Cooney hanger loose shirt somewhere along the line.
There might be one somewhere.
Yep.
But this is about our inductees.
Absolutely.
Who, not about Tim. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Don't bring him up.
Well, I got to bring you up because I've been watching you, and helped you and watched you race. And how do you think we learned how to drive?
Now, I'm familiar with your history, being around just since you was a little kid. But kind of tell the viewers and the listeners, when you got kind of involved with coming to the racetrack.
As a young one, of course, my dad was down here racing, and then my stepdad raced, and mom went and married another racer. So, just been around working on cars and stuff, and then during my formative high school years, I didn't come to the racetrack too much. And got out of school and went off and worked out west a while and come back and on Saturday night in Corning, Iowa, in the middle of the summer, there's about one thing to do, and that's go racing. And so I got kind of tangled up with you and Dwight and Rex and everybody. And I think the first night I kind of hung around you real good was the shop door was open, and you guys was switching a motor to go to Kansas City on a Sunday to go racing at I-70 on the asphalt, and stood down there, watched you guys hand wrenches to you, and got all done about 4 o'clock in the morning seemed like, and said, well, you just as well go with us, and pretty much been doing that ever since, one way or another. So it was a fun time.
You made a comment there about the only thing to do in Corning on Saturday nights. And that one time the Des Moines Register had a reporter down here in infield, and he interviewed me, and I says, there you go. We don't know what normal people do on Saturday nights in Corning. We just go to the racetrack.
Well, yeah, and for a long time everybody did. That's why the grandstands are as big as they are, because everybody used to come to the racetrack, and times have changed and it's slowed down some, but things evolve, and I think it's an evolution, and I think it'll come back around as it always does, the ebb and flow of racing.
Gil Hampel says it's cyclical. I mean, it really is. I've seen it has to go through that, and our fan base has been pretty solid for quite some time, and we very thankful of that. Like you said, what to do on Saturday night. Come wintertime, it's not like we were lost, because still a lot of people hanging out, a lot of shops in the wintertime still.
You got to work on them all winter to make them run all summer. So
and a lot of times there's some adult beverage involved, and a lot of fun. So
I never partook in any of that stuff. I was a good kid.
Don't doubt it a bit. I don't doubt it a bit.
So did you ever do the 2-man cruiser deal?
I never did. We was racing up in Denison on Friday nights, and I remember Jason O'Brien was running a 2-man cruiser up there in his start of racing career. So No, I worked on them with for Dwight and you guys that were driving, you and Mark, and my brother Bill was he had a hobby stock and he was racing it on Friday nights in Audubon, and he was an official down here on Saturday nights, and so he wasn't running it. And he said, well, if you want to run it, if we don't get tore up on Friday nights, then you can run it on Saturday nights. And that's how I got started driving. So, I didn't get tore up too bad. I rolled over a lot there the first few years I was racing.
You rolled over on a practice day, didn't you?
I had a practice crash. That was a practice crash, or a crash during practice.
There you go. There you go. I remember that.
It was a slow rollover too. I come off the corner and the car got squirrely and it went sideways about 3 different ways, and then it just kind of plopped over. And that was a good way to break in a brand new body on a race car. Like, gosh,
of course, I can't remember that stuff. Like, but were you upside down when you stopped?
Oh yeah. You could. If I didn't have a window net, I could have stopped it by holding my arm out the window. It was that slow.
So did you do the mistake a lot of drivers do and unhook yourself while you're upside down?
Oh yeah.
And hit your head.
Oh no, I wedged myself up there pretty good, but
at least you were good enough to remember that. 'Cause
yeah.
I always hear the story that people unhook it and boom.
Usually what happened to me, I was big enough that I unhooked it and only one belt would come off. And then you're kind of hanging up there upside down, and you can't get yourself wedged back up in the seat to get the other belt off. So
it's like some of them now, like, roll me back over so I can get out of this thing.
Yeah.
Now, you had a great relationship with Ross Griffith, who is a Hall of Fame member.
Yep.
Tell us a little about that.
So when we started racing, Bill and I, Ross was helping out the Oglesbys and sponsoring them and stuff, and so. We got him to sponsor us some, and then one day he comes up and he says, well, I got a deal for you. And he says, if I buy a stock car, would you guys work on it and drive it? And we was like, yeah, you better let's think about it. Okay, yeah, we'll do that.
30 seconds.
It didn't take long.
Long thought process on that.
So Ross had bought Josh Oglesby's old stock car, and we'd spent the winter time putting it together and come out in the spring, and it was a pretty good time. The first year we done okay. We didn't win any races, but we run good. I think we finished like 11th in points or something in that first year, and then the next year after that, man, it just kind of clicked, and started winning a few races here and there, and I think was that the year they started the mix up there for the points at the like in August, and they reset the points or the chase.
Yeah, that was because Greg come up with the idea, ample racing promoter. They, let's kind of match it up with how NASCAR was doing it.
Right.
So that's what they did.
And so, that where that reset you in that August, you could be right there, and like the second year we was right there up in with like the top 3 or 4 guys, and things went really well. I think we ended up decent in the points that year, and then, we just started clicking and started winning a few races here and there. And then the next thing 17 years later, we've won quite a few races. So,
who do you remember competing against? Tough competitors, people you remember with?
You look at anybody in the stock car class through the years, and they're all tough competitors. Of course, Greg's probably, would have been the number one tough competitor. But I got to race against, Chuck Hewlett, and Scuba still racing. He was always tough. Brad, all them guys, and any there for a long time, and still is. Anybody in the top 10 at Corning is tough, and anybody can win. So if you beat them, you feel pretty good about what you've done, and it's always been a tough class, even when there was 30 cars, you know.
Yep.
And now that, you know, if there's 10 or 15 cars, it's still a tough class. There ain't none of these give-me races, you know. There just ain't none of them anymore.
I wish there was. Somebody give me a
Yeah. You know, several questions I can think of. I'm going to do, you know, somehow I know Ross pretty well.
Yeah.
You know, and, but, you know, I think he told me that whenever they got out of it, y'all were going to leave it at the same time.
Yeah.
Right? Kind of.
Yeah.
I did. On that, kind of how that worked out. But, I mean, did you consistently come to the races after that? I mean, I remember seeing you a few times.
I tell you what, I come when I can, but I've been so busy with grandkids and doing other things with my wife, you know, that we haven't been doing on Saturday nights when we were racing. So now, if we want to do something, we take our boat out, or we go camping, or something like that, or we go see our grandkids on the weekends, and that's what we do now. So
no itch, don't get the itch.
Yeah, is the bug still there?
The
bug to drive would be there, but not the bug to work on.
That's what Bill's for, though. Bill, that's Bill. Come on.
I think if
Zach,
if I showed up with a car, them guys would probably come out and work on it. But
there you go. We need stock cars. Our stock car counts down.
I would like to become a fair weather racer. I think I don't like the hot anymore. So no, I do miss it, but I don't miss the work that it took to be competitive on the racetrack. And nowadays, when you got to work your tires over and you got to, you know, there's just a lot of work involved in it anymore.
Tim? You're still doing it, right?
Yeah, you know, he's right. There is, but I feel myself and Dwight, and we've got a really good race car that. If you just kind of got to maintain it, you don't have to.
Yeah, if you don't get tore up, you know, and the racing multi times a week, you know, that's a young kids racing deal, you know. I would say that if I would get back into racing, I would probably like to do a traveling series and go see different tracks and race at different places. Just more because I'm gonna enjoy it for the racing of it, and not so much have to go out and try to be competitive or win races or anything like that. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's the thing. You know, we talk a lot about different things. We could try to get different classes, different cars. You know, nostalgia is one thing. So there's classic cars out there. You know, but some of those guys are competitive. Some of them aren't.
Yeah.
You know? To me, I could see something where you'd enjoy if it's something you did once a month, twice a month. Obviously,
I would. I tell you what, I would like to see. I would like to see the old Camaro Nova Mustang late models with the 12-inch tires and the 12-inch spoiler on the back. You know, the before the late models become wedge late models. You know,
was that Sportsman? Yeah.
No.
Well, it was the late model class. You know, it evolved up through. But the late model of today is the wedge car of the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
You know, and then they tried to put bumper covers on them that were more stock, that weren't like a 4x8 sheet of plywood up there.
Right.
And they've made them so aero dependent anymore.
Yep. And I think the old 70 Camaro looking cars and the old Novas and that, and you know, the old Larry Hyatt Mustang, they just were neat looking cars, and you know, always thought they was fast way back when. So you know,
longtime photographer here, Jerry Adams. You know, you can get on YouTube or Facebook a lot. He puts so many pictures on there, but that is some neat stuff to look at. You know, going back and looking at some of the old videos of cars and that stuff. It's just that's fun to see.
The old fall jamboree pictures I like.
Oh,
you know.
Yeah, that one of it was like Mudville.
Yeah,
How they ever got that in is amazing to me. But that was some cool cars and some drivers from all over the Midwest who were at that race itself.
Yeah.
So, but Joe, go ahead. I know you thanked some people, but good time to really personally thank some people. And I know in your bio we're going to be announcing that at intermission too. But on the air here. So.
Well, first and foremost, I wouldn't be up here talking to you guys without Ross. And Ross was the man that come up and had confidence in me as a driver, and Bill and Zach as crew guys to come out on the racetrack. And his expectations weren't high. He was just, let's be competitive, and if we get lucky, we can win some races. And that was a 17 or 18 year partnership with Ross, and it was strictly a handshake deal. And it was, when you're done, I'll be done, and vice versa. And if we ever want to get out of it, then we're good. And it was just, it couldn't have been any better. I don't know how, I can't never thank him enough. And he's been there forever.
We're going to see him tonight. That's a good thing too.
Yep, and I stopped down and seen him today. So he's going to come. And
it's been a busy day for him, I know that.
Yep, it's been a busy day for him. And just, we wouldn't be where we're at without Ross.
And you had some, I think there's some other friends and sponsors that you've had too.
Yep. Dave and Cheryl Swartz has been there since the beginning too, and Todd Gustafson with the Sunny Slope Sailors. They've always been on the car, always been great sponsors, and I remember Cheryl, she would sponsor us a tire if we won a feature. And after about the fifth win, she was going, "You can quit winning features anytime now." but we would put a right rear tire to good use, though. Yeah. So
absolutely.
It was, we've had some good times racing, and but then I've got to thank my brother Bill and Zach too, because it takes a lot to work on these cars, and they were there every week and through the week, and you sacrifice a lot of stuff to do that. You miss out on family stuff, and so I appreciate everything everybody's done, and I know I wouldn't be up here without any of them. And of course your family, my wife Melody, and the kids and the grandkids. She didn't. Some days she didn't like racing, but most days she did. And because sometimes you got to commit yourself to coming to the races if you want to win a championship and that stuff. And sometimes that got in the way of family stuff. But for support, man, I couldn't ask for a better wife for support on my racing through the years, because she's always been there and always loving. And so, dear, thank you. I love you. And
that's great.
It is great, because it takes a family to do this thing.
That's the word I use all the time. So that's the word I use. It's great we get to do this with you, Joe. Well deserving being an inductee. Our next step will be, like I've been saying, at intermission. We'll get you out there and we'll.
Yep, we're gonna have a pretty good time, I think, tonight. We got family and friends and fans and the other inductees who we're all friends.
Yep.
It was a good class of inductees this year. Not that any year is a bad class, but I think it was a pretty good class this year.
I agree totally.
I'll tell you what, I got to do one thing here. You're listening to KOAK Radio in Red Oak, Iowa, along with KCSI out of Corning and Nottoway. We have Joe Zena and Tim Cooney here. We're gonna try to kick you out of here as I go to a commercial break.
You got a couple more good guys coming right behind me.
So we're gonna take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back with you.
Since 1892, Malvern Bank has been building community from 404 Main Street in Malvern, Iowa. For generations, Malvern Bank has been serving local businesses, families, and farms to help them achieve their goals in every step of their lives. From saving for college to planning for retirement and everything in between, Malvern Bank is your full-service community bank, here to help as you plan for the next chapter of your life. Call, click, or stop in today to apply for an account, loan, or credit card. Malvern Bank, we build community. Member FDIC, equal.
Furniture, appliances, mattress sets, lift chairs, bedding, recliners, and more. S&S Appliance, your hometown furniture store in Clarinda, just received a large shipment of appliances. They have a huge selection of stoves, refrigerators, chest freezers, and microwaves. And if you need a mattress set, they have them, plus bamboo sheet sets. They offer full service from start to finish with competitive price guarantee. S&S Appliance also offers delivery and installation. Stop by S&S Appliance on the square in downtown Clarinda.
This is Josh with Shore Motor Company in Clarinda. We want to be your GM dealer. We have highly qualified and trained technicians ready to work on your vehicle. Anything from recalls to warranty work and beyond, we are your GM dealer. Our service department is open 6 days a week for all your service needs. We even have an express lane for those no appointment quick oil changes. Visit our website at shoremotor.com to request an appointment or give Mike or Amanda a call at 712-542-6581. We are your GM dealer. Shore Motor Company, just south of the square in beautiful Clarinda.
Welcome back, race fans, to Pitside Live here at Adams County Speedway in Corning, Iowa. Yes, we are racing. I know there's some weather out there north of us. I do believe Shelby County has gotten rained out, so anyone up north, you're welcome to come on down here if you want to see some live racing tonight here in Corning. Also, welcome everybody back to KCSI YouTube channel. We're back here live on the air. Let me get this thing on the TV here off of here, so let me get this back on here. Hopefully I get back live here to you on the web page. Our next guest is here, a contributor, we call it, Larry Carr from right here in Corning, Iowa, and welcome, Larry, and congratulations.
Thank you for having me.
So, I know we talked to Jimmy on here a little bit, but I had to dig some shirts out, and I love the fact that you got yours dug out too. So,
yeah, I think it kind of shrunk in the closet. That happens to stuff.
Well, the crazy part of it is this web thing is live. Sometimes it comes on, but we don't have the sound. So I guess some people got to see me changing shirts in here. So I'm like, we give them a great. They have to pay money for that usually. So I don't know. Anyway,
it's not an X-rated show.
No. But unfortunately, I don't know what you call that rating. It's not good. So Doughboy rating. So I don't know what you call it. So, but Larry, doing your bio, I think your kids helped you, and it was very, very sweet. I loved it. It was great. It's 2 pages, but it was well worth it because, you go back and look at all the things you've been a part of here at this track. A lot of memories, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got a lot of memories. I think the first time I ever come to a race was in 1958 when the old Coops was running. It was on a Sunday afternoon. The grandstands was clear full, the old covered grandstands, and there was standing room only. It was unreal. And I kind of got hooked on racing there, I think.
I was going to say, it was that the day that you got hooked and says, hey, I need to do that.
Yeah. It was pretty neat back then.
That's my memory too. Just like right here on your shirt, the the old amphitheater is the thing, you know. And you sent me those pictures of the flood with the back picture too. That's what I remember most too. I remember most about. I would sometimes sit in there and sometimes sit outside, because sitting inside, that sound would reverberate in that thing so much. It's just amazing how loud it would be in there. So.
I can remember coming to the old coupe races back in the late 50s, and also they used to have what they call the Jimmy Lynch Daredevils here. They come down here and watch that. It's pretty neat.
I remember some of that. Now, did you ever drive a coupe? You surely did.
No, I drove Earl Smith's coupe in a trophy dash one day. But.
Yeah. So like you and I drove a coupe around the track. I don't think I was racing, but there's not very many of us left.
No.
That drove old 6-cylinder coupes down here.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just step back and try to think of who's there around that did that. So, because that was always my favorite class, without a doubt, no question. That was my favorite. You know, of course, Dusty Whitehead, you know, Ernie Stender. That was one of my favorite cars by far, the 56 Junior. That's my earliest remembrance of that car. You know, those are the guys I remember so well. And then I had local guys that I knew, Denny Black, Ron Hart. You know, they kind of ran a little bit together. And then Cecil McEwen right there in Nottoway. I grew up going down there and messing around with that car. I know he always ran a straight 6 in that car. So
there's always quite a few guys from Creston that come down and run. There's a lot of guys from Clarinda that come up and run, and then there's people from all over.
Yeah, it's. I remember, like I said, Denny Black and Ron Hart put in the salvage, if I remember right. They ran that, and then what I remember also is Ron Hart was an announcer for a while too.
Yeah.
So I always remember that well too. So.
So now you built that Mustang. Was that a 70 Mustang you built?
It's a 69 Mustang. Dwight Jackson and Doug Downey, we did it down at the old Downey's DX station. And we built the thing from scratch. And
so you can see on the picture, but it's in our brochure, so you'll see that. So,
did you know what you were doing?
No.
That's what Joe picked up when he left. He goes, "This is what we need right back here racing again right now. We need that type of class right back here again with a big tire on it." So don't disagree with him. That'd be neat to have something like that. So
yeah, it'd be them old home built cars. It was fun.
Yeah, because I was going to mention that to Joe when they were talking about changing. Is like you can't go to the local parts store or the junkyard and make a race car anymore. Technically, I mean, with all this stuff.
Yeah, you can get a fan belt, maybe a radiator hose.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it's just sad, but it's sad to think of that because, But other parts that you've been here raced, but you were on the board with me, and during the time I know you were on, we went through some big changes during that time. So.
Yes, when I got on the fair board, I think it was in maybe 83 or 84. The old amphitheater we tore it down, took the bleachers out, and then we started building what there is here today.
And it's, there's a lot of those pictures are on our website too, folks, to look at. But it's just amazing, like I said earlier, how much we accomplished with volunteers back then, because that was pretty much 100% volunteer on a lot of that stuff.
It was all volunteer.
So. It's just, and I look back at all of our improvements, and I'm like, we had to do this again. It never happened. I don't see how it would ever happen. So, without paying a lot of money to get it done. So
I can remember when John Hampel had done all the steel work on it and got the frame or the steel all put up on it, and then the fair board members come and we started putting the 2-inch planks clear up on the top deck. We was up there hanging on the steel trying to screw them boards to the frame, and it's kind of neat. It's fun.
The one I remember is when we started to put that railing on the back, and it was mighty windy that day, and I was kind of puckered up a little bit on that one a little bit. So we had ropes around them and kind of like that was remember that stuff well. And I got a picture of you on the brochure with that one too. I remember that. So
you even reshaped the turns a little bit with your dozer at one time, didn't you?
Yeah, I reshaped the whole racetrack. I tried to get the ends so there's the same, and done a lot of measuring and pushed a lot of dirt.
That's when we peeled a lot of dirt out of the infield too.
Yes, it all come out of the infield.
Because it was, I remember Gail. That water table's pretty close right there. It was a fine line to be able to do that. So, It's, because back in the day, this thing was flat pretty much.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, I surveyed this. It's been years ago, but anyway, I found out that down next to the river, it's 3 foot higher there than it is behind the racetrack on the south end.
And I think if I remember right, doesn't the water, like in turn 2, go north to that? I think somebody said it runs north of that tube down there. It doesn't. But I mean, in the infield, it doesn't.
No, the way we had it is about in the center of the backstretch. The water would run south, and then from that point, the water would run north. And there's a tube underneath of the track. And
if I remember right, the tube in the river, wasn't there a flap on that or something? So the river came up, it can't back up.
Probably still is.
So
there didn't used to be, but there, and they should have been.
So it won't back up into the track. Yeah, when the river was up, it didn't drain very well around here. So that was the thing. So
it used to be when you'd rain, the south end would fill up with water, and then we'd have get the fire trucks down here, and we'd pump water and get it so we could race.
So, what classes did you race down here?
I raced in what they called the late model sportsman.
And why is it for some reason, I always thought you drove a car with Dwight, or how did that work at one time? Didn't you have, for some reason I have that in my head, but was that right or no? I mean, did you?
Dwight helped me with the Mustang, and then, we worked together. He worked for me at the body shop, and we started our racing career, I guess.
Didn't you one time have a difficulty with some officials, and they says, Larry, you can't drive the car the rest of the night, so Dwight might have got in it?
Well, maybe.
Okay. That's some good memories, that's for sure. Nobody ever disagreed with the officials. Everybody always agreed.
Yeah, every once in a while we'd have a little excitement down here.
Yeah. Like Ray Hopkins said, if you're going to do that, make sure you come to the front stretch. Everybody can see it. Yeah, it is. That's it. Yeah.
And you won a feature in that Chevelle.
Yes.
That Sanger Chevelle.
Yes.
I remember that.
Yeah, I just raced a couple of years with the Mustang, then a couple of years with the Chevelle. I couldn't afford it.
So, I know we was hoping to have a surprise tonight, but maybe sometime with a car. But I know Fudge's cars here in town, and any other cars you had still around, or are they long gone?
My cars are all gone. I don't know whatever happened to the Chevelle, and I don't really know what happened to the Mustang.
Well, that Mustang did some time in the Pro Street class here, I believe, at one time.
Yeah, Lon Sluter had it. He bought it from me. I sold it to him, and he raced it 2 or 3 years, and then I do not know what happened to it after that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's real quick, anybody you want to thank or mention while you're on the air here? So
I just want to thank all the members on the Fair Board committee that I was with, we worked with, and we put this thing together more or less to what it kind of is today. And we built I remember building the wheel fence out here in front. We put that up. And we just had a lot of stuff, a lot of fun, doing what was doing.
A passion for the place. That's what I call it.
Yeah, I kind of grew up here.
Yeah. We always want to make sure it succeeds, and that's why I've always been here. I have a passion for this place. I want to see it keep going and never fail. That's and I know you have that same thought. So that's the neat part about it. And I keep saying every time, a family. That's what we all are here, a big group, and very well deserving. We're going to read stuff out there when we go out there at intermission and get you out there. But make sure everybody get a flyer when they come in, those that are coming, and make sure you read that, because Larry's is well written and very informative, and it gives you a pretty good background of all the things you've been involved with down here.
Yeah, thanks to my daughter Dana. She helped do that, her and Nick, and it turned out good.
Yeah, it did. It was very good. So Larry, appreciate it. We got one more guest we're going to get on here. Somebody might recognize him when we get him in here, but congratulations.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
We'll see you out there on the front stretch here at intermission, and I'll see if I can get this thing to go to a commercial here, and we'll do our last set of commercials, and we'll be right back with you. All right.
Just as your local State Farm agent teams combine good neighbor service with surprisingly great rates, you can combine your home and auto. And guess what you get? That's right, good neighbor service with surprisingly great rates. This is your local State Farm agent, Dave Carball, and we promise to deliver the service you deserve at the price you want. My State Farm team will help you mix and match things perfectly. Call us today at 712-623-5639 for your surprisingly great rates. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Too busy at work to wait in a long line at Subway? Order online at order.subway.com. Simply register with your email and password and order away. You can also download the Subway app on your smartphone. Order up to 6 subs, salads, or pizza. Ready in 15 minutes once order is submitted. Also add chips, cookies, and drinks easily. And Subway's back to normal hours, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 11 p.m., Saturday, 8 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. Order online at Subway in Red Oak, Clarinda, Shenandoah. Best Finish Auto Sales and Service is proud of the quality used vehicles they sell and their dedication to serve the needs of their customers. Whether it's your first purchase or one of many that you've had, you can count on their dedicated sales staff to make the best buying experience possible. They also offer financing on your vehicle purchase. Best Finish can also take care of your service needs, from oil change, brakes, alignment, air conditioning, to any body shop and repair needs. Stop by Best Finish Auto Sales and Service at 209 Sharp Street in Glenwood for all of your vehicle needs. Feeders Grain and Farm Supply in Corning, representing the most recognized and trusted brands in the industry, as well as locally sourced products. Stop by and see a full lineup of Purina products to handle all of your livestock needs. And if you need Sioux steel gates, they've got you covered. Browse the store and they're confident you'll find what you're looking for, or they'll order it in for you. Feeders Grain and Farm Supply in Corning, supporting all of 4-H and FFA members. That's Feeders Grain and Farm Supply in Corning.
Welcome back, race fans, to Pitside live here at Adams County Speedway. We're finishing up here our Hall of Fame night, and we have our last guest for the night. And hopefully some of you recognize this guy. We put in one of the old nostalgia shirts on him, but welcome inductee Jim Wichtman.
Thank you.
So awesome to have you here.
Thank you.
So
it's good to be here.
And hopefully we're going to have some surprises for people here tonight. So yeah, you never know. And you got to be here to see it, so make sure you get here. So it's going to be a big surprise. So we're looking forward to it. But so well deserved. Tim and I talk all the time, and I call you our historian. I mean, seriously, you've got a ton of knowledge and a ton of research that you've kept.
What I can pull down on my hiney is amazing.
yeah. But I think you have a pretty good list, and I think you've shared it with Dre Hampel, I think, a little bit, some of that stuff.
Yeah, Hampel's have a good list. So, I have a good list older.
Yeah, because, I mean, past champions is the big one. And that's huge because that's something a lot of people don't think about. We should be keeping better track of, and we haven't, but that's stuff we have to have. I know one year we did T-shirts that listed all the champions on the back of it, and man, did I have calls from past champions that wanted those so bad. And one of them was Marcia Skelberg when I worked with her, and they bought a ton of those. So we need to bring that back again. So.
That was back when Terry Lundquist dumb guys done that.
Yes. Yep. Exactly right. Yep. Helped do that. So, but Jimmy, just like most of everybody talked about here, you grew up here.
Yep. So. Came here 60 years. Been here. During that time, I've missed 2 years. I worked at Harlan, so there's 2 years didn't make it. But other than that, I missed had 5 races in my lifetime.
And 60 years, Tim's been driving those 60 years. Too.
Almost. No, most of them. Well,
but 6 decades, right?
He did start in '76.
That's right, 6 decades, isn't it?
It's been quite a while. But we got to talk about the
Tim's taste talking about it too.
Always, Jim, you and I have been friends. I don't ever remember not knowing you, and just to look out around here at what the place is today versus what it was in 1970 or 1965.
Oh my!
It's a lot of difference, isn't it?
Yeah, you wouldn't recognize it. You wouldn't recognize it. Remember that day, Cooney? We skipped school. the movie for Christmas.
I don't think my mom knows I skipped school.
And we came down here to the fairgrounds. This is we call it CB days. This is go to Home 40.
Yeah.
Go to the fairgrounds. So we come down here. We walked down. The football bleachers were back there. We sat down football bleachers and just sat there and dreamed what this could be. And you know how much of it is come to true?
Somebody has pictures or drawings of it.
Yes, he does.
He does. I know he has.
I've seen him.
I have too. I have too.
Yeah, that's.
I drew these along.
I was supposed to be doing math.
You're supposed to art class.
Yeah.
No, architecture. Architecture. That's what it is. Drafting.
Yeah.
but it's amazing. I can kind of, through some old aerial photos that I know of, put the footprint of the old amphitheater, and it was really small.
Yes, it was.
You know, at the time we just thought it was huge.
Yeah.
But
we were small
in reality
too.
today.
Yeah, right.
yeah. When we sat up there in that corner.
Yep.
And we cheered drivers on, and
we had a good time. And I came down them days and on Sunday afternoons or Saturday afternoons or whatever it was, and I'd be down here at 1 o'clock, sitting in that corner, watching them water the track.
Oh, yeah.
All day. But you know why I did it, Manny? I get in free. They didn't come get me.
you always had your what they call that Pepsi, the big boss or something?
I didn't want them with me. Yeah. Brought my own pop, sit up there, and we had a good time.
But the other great thing to me was the concession stand was out in the parking lot.
The Legion stand, yeah.
Frozen Snickers, snow cones. I hated onions, but for some reason when I came to the racetrack, they had those finely chopped onions, and I'd always put onions on. It wasn't good without those. I wanted those onions on there, and I don't know why, but that's the stuff I remember.
The thing in my story, it talks about walking to the racetrack from Grandma and Grandpa Penn's.
Yeah.
You could smell the hamburgers at their place. Just walk away.
Yep.
You could smell them hamburgers cooking.
Yep.
And they just made you want a hamburger.
Exactly
because they peppered them up, and you could smell it.
You got that right. There was nothing, and Joan Carr, Larry's wife, it's mentioned his. It was the same way. There was nothing better than a racetrack cheeseburger.
Right.
I mean, that's the truth. That's what, we had the argument about doing pizza for a while at the fair board meeting about that one. That was a good one. And we did, but that was a good argument. But don't want to take away from the cheeseburgers. And it didn't, but that's another thing to remember. There was nothing better than a racetrack cheeseburger.
Yes.
Joan.
And I'll give them credit. It's darn good now.
Oh yeah, we're
getting close to
getting
close to the.
We've got a lot of things changed, and you're exactly right. So
the burger they got this year is the best one they've had for years.
It is, and then we have a new used popcorn machine thanks to Joe Kaziski. Can't thank him enough for that thing. But I tell you what, that thing is the bomb. I mean, it is the neatest thing.
Yeah.
But that type of stuff. We have a new cheese ball we're going to be introducing, and I know you're going to like it because we had some last night, and I'll tell you what. That's going to be popular. The French fries we brought back, we used to use, and we can't even keep up making them. That's one thing she complains about. We have 3 fryers and can't keep up with them. But that's the fun stuff about it, and that shows us that we still have a good fan base here.
Yep.
Keeping this thing going. I know both of you guys, we talk about this stuff all the time. We got to keep this place going, and it takes those fans to do that. So.
Yeah, and we want to preserve the history, live in the present, and enjoy the present. And think about the future.
Yep.
Because, is there an entry-level class here anymore?
Nope.
You could argue the compacts are, but I think they're spending a lot of money.
They're spending more than they should, but that's because you cannot tech those cars.
Yep, it is. It's tough.
It's the same way with the B-mods and the hobbies. The crate motors have gotten higher than the open motor now.
Right, yep.
They shouldn't be that way because they're not crates no more. They're all opened up and played with them.
Yep.
Make them higher priced.
Right.
The whole concept is gone.
Yep. Yeah. And you guys know the history well of how that works. You especially as a driver, knowing the Spences, you just being part of it forever and being familiar with all this stuff. We talk all the time. Joe just mentioned about bringing that car back, like Larry's. That's the kind of car we need. I know you mentioned the Crown Vic class, and there's nothing wrong with that. So give it a try.
There's vintage racing out there.
Yeah.
They run them up to Harlan, but I'm talking with Jerry Rold about it, and because he was involved at one time but they're spending a lot of money there.
Yep.
You know, and you can't blame people for wanting to spend money to go fast, but
what do we always say? Drivers are their own worst enemy when it comes to this.
Always have been. Always have been. Because they want to beat the other guy. And so
yeah,
you got to go home without thinking.
Right. Just like they have their own way of interpreting rule books.
Don't they? Yes, exactly.
So what are you doing nowadays, Jim?
Well, I'm very busy. I'm retired. After my stroke, I retired, got disability, sold my business, or sold the building, and had a sale last March. Sold out, and things have been pretty good since. Anyway, we're mowing the fairgrounds now. Wife and I, she comes down, helps me. She brings my push mower down from home and pushes.
What's that thing?
What
are those?
Well, to get the places I can't get.
Sure.
And then there's nothing better than Roundup. And
yeah.
So, and with it not raining, it's cut down the mowing immensely. So,
yeah.
Last 2 weeks, it doesn't take much
everywhere.
time.
I have to mow properties in Nottoway for the city, and it's I was like, there ain't no mowing right
Yep.
now.
Well, right now, this week was here Wednesday from 10 to 2:30 and done. So
yeah, you got to go ahead, Tim. I've got to connect this thing back on here so we can get out of here.
Well, I keep thinking about just through the years how the lighting has changed, the signals. Yeah, of course you have always just been a flagman, want to be a flagman, and remember Ron Law, Fat Law, they called him.
Yep.
Was a flagman, and he'd stand out on the front stretch and
jump and wave that flag.
Wave that flag, and he waited. It seemed like he waited forever. And I was just a kid in the grandstand, and I just knew I was going to see him get splatted.
He never
did. And I have those DVDs of some racing in like '64 when he was doing that, and he didn't take much chance of getting hit.
No,
you can see it was a well calculated.
There was years ago, back in the '60s, the Corning High School baseball team was played in this infield for the grandstand.
Yeah.
And the dugouts, so two dugouts over there, they're down the ground, cement, and the race car went off one night, hit flat flags, and one of the dugouts took the top off of it. Guy didn't get hurt, but I got my first set of flags.
I know we're running a little long, and I hope they don't mind in the back studio. Quick mention is I know we've had some questions about it, but we are going to be doing the races live tonight on KCSI YouTube. So if you know anybody you want to shout out at and want to see you at induction that can't make it,
hey,
we want to have you all here live, that's for sure. But we will be able to do this.
I've got
be recorded. So
I think all my family, most of them are here.
That's great. That's awesome. That's what we want. So
we're going to be.
But just mention that real quick, just for you that are listening in and want to know. But we will be doing the races live tonight on our YouTube channel with KCSI. So just pull up KCSI, and you'll have a YouTube link in there. But we'll be switching that over here very shortly as we're going to wrap this up. But Jim, so well deserving. Tim and I have been doing this for a while, and you see those votes, and it's just people are going to be getting in there. Like, tell Petty not to be frustrated, but we knew it would happen, and well deserved. I can't say that enough. And
well, thank you very much.
You are, the Wichtman name is iconic with this racetrack. So
with
your dad, your mom, your mom will be coming on here. I know she will too. I guarantee you she'll be in here as a fan someday, and that'll definitely happen. Because your mom was an icon. You get to see her right below you.
Yep.
Shaking her happy sometimes and not happy with you sometimes.
Well, that if somebody else not happy there, she don't know it. She's that bulldog down
If
there.
I remember right, she had a shirt with some autographs on it, and then didn't she embroider some of those?
She might have.
I swear she did, but it was just. And then when I started on the fair board, I remember so well, she came up and handed me her keys, which is this great big wad of keys. Like, nobody knew what they went to because most of those locks were long gone. So
right.
So I remember that so well, too. But,
because everything was different key back then.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Nowadays, you got 4 or 5.
No, now we went to push button. So, anyway, so, your dad, iconic here, too. he was resident plumber, is what I called him for a long time. My story with your dad at loving it because he would be working down here, and then he'd go up and he'd go to the pit gate, and he'd walk behind the grandstands, and every time he'd walk up there, he'd look for change.
Yeah.
And
he'd find something.
And he would. Well, one time Larry threw some change out to see if he could find it. That's a story I don't know if you knew about. That was some funny stuff. So, well, I'll tell you what. I see Aaron out there. They want to get the equipment put away so they can get the other stuff set up. So, but Jim, awesome. We'll see you out there.
Thank you. Thank you very
hopefully
much.
Everybody's here. We'll be in for a big surprise when we get you out there. So,
we'll see what happens.
We're not letting the cat out of the bag, but But I tell you what, folks. Thanks for tuning in to KCS Live here, KCS Live Pitside Live right here at Adams County Speedway. We are racing. No rain in the area with us, so we are definitely racing. I know Harlan rained out, but this has been a big night for us, and thank you for letting us go on a little long tonight. And we'll see you next week for more racing here at Adams County Speedway. And if I can get to the number 4, here we'll go.
We're out.
Good job, Jimmy. Oh, there's one coming at us? Of course there is. Yep. There's a cell coming
It's
at us.
not big, but it's coming.
Might be something we have to roll the walk.
Shelby's already canceled.
Excellent. Thanks, Tim.
I like the throwback shirts.
Yeah.
I've got a stack of those in my closet.
These are all the ones I took out.